Host Tammy Trujillo, down.
He's not kidding. I do think we own stock in every single pet store and pet food place in Southern California. My husband Randy is in the studio today. He's showing me all the scratches on his arm from our wonderful new foster dog, who's a great big guy. All right, welcome to our Veterans Day show, and to all the veterans listening today, the biggest shout out I could possibly give you without blowing our speakers out, man, because you are my hero. You are absolutely my hero. And, you know, heroes come in all styles, all shapes, all sizes, and they come with 4 feet. And I want to bring on, we have such an honor today. We have the president and co-founder of the U.S. War Dogs Association on the air with us today. He is a Vietnam vet, a military dog handler. Ron Aiello, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me on today.
Oh, it absolutely, it is such an honor, sir, to have you on the air. And you have been working so hard. Tell us a little about your service, because I know that you had a dog in Vietnam.
Yes, I I volunteered to go to dog training school back in 1965, knowing that once I completed the training that I would go to Vietnam. So I was fortunate to be one of the first of 30 Marine Scout dog teams to be deployed to Vietnam in early 1966.
Now, who was your partner? My
partner was Stormy. She was a female, and she was about 65 pounds. She was a small dog. When I met her, she was 18 months old, and when we arrived in Vietnam, she was 21 months old. So she was still a little baby. And I worked over there with her for about a year, a little over a year. And then I had to leave, and a new handler came in and took over and became her new handler.
What type of dog was she, Ron?
She was German Shepherd.
Okay.
Basically, the dog that we used in Vietnam was German Shepherds. The Army did use some Labrador Retrievers as tracker dogs, but basically the dog that were used were German Shepherds. They kind of cut it down from a number of dogs to German Shepherds. They felt that was the best all-around dog for handling the climate and the terrain, and to be able to be retrained with a new handler.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you a dog guy going into this? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
I had a German Shepherd back home, and that's probably one of the reasons that I volunteered to go to a dog training school, is because I did miss my German Shepherd back home.
Oh yeah.
And I figured eventually I'm going to go to Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And what better way to go to Vietnam than with a dog by my side?
Absolutely.
She saved my life a number of times, and also other Marines, and she was also my therapist while I was there.
Tell us what her skills were. What kind of work did she do over there with you?
Well, our job as a Scout Dog, Marine Scout Dog team, was to lead the patrols. We would go out in front of the patrol, and Stormy was trained to detect enemy ambushes, tripwire booby traps, punji pits, snipers in a tree, and she was trained to alert on those, and then I was trained to actually decipher what she was trying to tell me.
To understand her communication.
Right, and so when she alerted, I would stop the patrol, I would kneel down by her side, and I would ask her, what do you see, girl? What do you see, Stormy?
Oh, my gosh.
And she would basically be pointing to where she either heard a noise or she received some type of scent, airborne scent. And then I would look at the terrain, feel the wind, the breeze in the air, and decipher, okay, we have a possible enemy ambush at 11 o'clock at about 300 yards in the tree line.
Now, when you say she saved your life and the lives of other guys by spotting something you needed to see before you saw it?
My first patrol with her, we trained at Fort Benning, Georgia. I hate to say it, the Army trained the Marine Corps, but they did do a good job. And, we were really good in the training process in the States, and you always wonder, when you get over to Vietnam and you're running a real patrol with a real enemy, does it really work? And my job that day, along with Stormy, was to lead a platoon to search 2 villages. We searched the first village, and it was all clear. There was no Viet Cong. We found nothing. And I was leading the platoon to the next village, and we were going down a trail, and Stormy and I came to the end of the trail, and we took about 2 steps into the clearing. Stormy immediately stopped and looked up to my right flank. As I knelt down by her side, which that's what you normally did, a sniper opened up from the trees from the right flank.
Oh, my gosh.
So the two of us kind of jumped over this burn of dirt to get some cover, and then the Marines came in behind us and took out the enemy.
Wow.
So you know, and I still remember because I kind of had a smile on my face, even though we're getting shot at, is because I always wondered if it really worked.
You found out.
And I realized that moment that it really does work.
You found out right off the start.
Right away, yes.
Now, when you
Didn't
say
take
she was
long.
your therapist, I can only imagine, or maybe I can only barely imagine what you were going through over there.
They were our therapists back then, and you know they're the same way today. The dog
yeah.
handlers in the military today, it's their therapy. You know, you have someone to talk to. You know, you kind of bounce your problems off your dog.
Uh-huh.
You know, you actually talk to your dog. Of course, you know, your dog's not going to talk back to you. But you just get it off your chest, kind of, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
An example, you know, if I was going to lead a night patrol, which every now and then we would lead a night patrol, and it was kind of difficult in the evening, you know, leading a platoon out or a squad out to an ambush site.
Mm-hmm.
So I would sit down just before it got dark with her. I'd find a place all by ourselves, and as it got dark, you know, we get accustomed to the darkness. I would talk to her, and just kind of go over what we're going to do that evening. You know, we're going to lead a patrol out to this enemy ambush site, then we're going to, and I would just talk to her and get this all out. And then when it was time for me to actually lead the patrol, I was kind of relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't nervous about it, and I would just, we would just go right out in front and do our job.
Well, I talk to my dogs. They're the best therapy on the planet, my dogs and cats. Absolutely. Now, Ron, something that I think I lost my mind over momentarily was when I learned what happened to a lot of the dogs that served in the Vietnam theater and overseas. Yes. At this point in time, they're classified as surplus
They're
equipment.
Still classified that way, yes.
They still are classified.
They haven't changed that. We are trying to get the Department of Defense to change that policy to actually give a real classification to the dogs. Whether it's a canine veteran, a canine soldier, but a classification other than excess equipment.
And what does excess equipment mean for our listeners?
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of Vietnam. Excess equipment, when you leave a war zone, what do you do?
Hi, it's Dandy Don of Dandy Don's Home